Okay, good morning and welcome to the last day of the conference. The first speaker of this section is Lou Bejok from the Rconsortium. Thank you.
Very much. Good morning, and thank you for showing up first thing after the conference dinner last night. I appreciate you being here. So I'm going to be talking about the Rconsortium today. So, in a show of hands, please, how many people had heard of the Rconsortium before coming to this conference? Okay. How many of you feel like you've got a fairly good understanding of what the Rconsortium is and does? All right. So the Rconsortium is a nonprofit trade organization. It is not a company, it is not a vendor, it is a group of companies, a group of organizations that have come together to support the R community. The members include some of the major players in the R space, as well as foundations such as the Moore Foundation, and various other companies that either sell software related to R or otherwise, have a vested interest in the R community. Personally, I'm from TIBCO, and we're one of the founding members of the Rconsortium. I'm a member of the Rconsortium board now. So why did we create an Rconsortium? Mainly because in any software ecosystem, the value is not just in the core software itself, but in all the components that surround that software. So not merely the core capabilities, but things like the technical capability of the users, the support for the wider community, what sort of governance is in there, what sort of resources go in to support it, what is the infrastructure around that software that helps keep it going, helps keep it strong and growing and valuable over time. We formed the Rconsortium as a Linux Foundation project, mainly because it was easy to get started. The Linux Foundation has decades of experience in supporting these kind of projects, and it made it easy for us to form something that would have not only the infrastructure that we needed, but also the international recognition, the credibility to move forward quickly. Now, the goals of the Rconsortium are really all about promoting the growth and development of R as one of the leading platforms for data science. We support the R Foundation, and most importantly, we fund projects. The money for the Rconsortium comes from the membership fees paid by members like TIBCO and Microsoft and RStudio and Alteryx and others. These fees, the vast majority of these fees go to funding projects. Many of these projects, I was very pleased to see, had sessions at this conference. Things like DBI and some of the other projects out there that you might have heard over the last couple of days, some that I'll mention later on in the talk. So, the goal of the Rconsortium is also to foster the growth of the R community. Towards that end, as you can see up there, we're one of the platinum sponsors of the useR conference this year. We also, by the nature of the organizations that are a member of the Rconsortium, we also focus a fair amount on really facilitating the use of R in commercial environments in particular, and production environments in general. It's also a way for the companies that have vested interests in the R community to work together for projects that benefit not only the entire community, but also the various members of the consortium. The structure of the consortium is, first off, we have a board of directors that really do the oversight, the governance, the budget. I'm the current chair of the board. Looking around at the conference, there are at least 3 other members of the board from the Moore Foundation, from RStudio and Microsoft, all here as well. A lot of the work of the Rconsortium gets done by the Infrastructure Steering Committee. This is the committee that reviews projects, reviews proposals. It's currently chaired by Hadley Wickham, and helps fund and facilitate working groups that I'll talk more about in a moment. There are 3 tiers of membership within the Rconsortium in terms of how much of a voice various companies want in the process of the Rconsortium, how much they're able and willing to contribute. And there's always a space on the board for an R Foundation member. Current representative on the board is Robert Gentleman, one of the founders of R. So if you're part of an organization that works with R, that has some interest in the R community, why should you join the Rconsortium? Well, the key thing is to help fund key projects around infrastructure in the ecosystem that will help you. It's also a way for you to generate industry-wide support for projects that you see as valuable. So if there's something you'd like to see, your organization would like to see within the R ecosystem, joining the Rconsortium is a great way to do that. As a member of the R Consortium, you also get a voice in selecting which projects get funded and then having an opportunity to help guide their development. And you also get direct access to the R Foundation via the board or participation in the Infrastructure Steering Committee. And generally, being a member of the R Consortium gives you a deeper insight into what the major developments in the R community and the R software are. So as I mentioned, I'm from TIBCO. My day job is as running product management at TIBCO around streaming analytics and advanced analytics. And why did we join? We joined because we want to contribute to the success of R because we've got a vested interest in it. We integrate with R in a number of our products, in our visual analytics platform called Spotfire, in our streaming analytics platforms, products such as Streambase, and most recently we acquired Statistica as a data science platform, and Statistica integrates with the open source R as well. It's also very important for us to promote standards and consistency in packages and other parts of the R ecosystem because we develop our own engine called TIBCO Enterprise Runtime for R, or TER for short. So making sure, or helping promote the idea of coding conventions, standard practices, standard APIs, this is all very useful for us so that as we implement an engine that's compatible with open source R, it's a lot easier for us to do so. The more consistency there is, the higher quality there is in the overall ecosystem. We also have a long history around R. We are the original makers of S+, which shares the same root as R, going back to the S language at Bell Labs in the 70s with John Chambers. And so I like to say we've been doing R since before R existed. And so we have a very long and unique history in this community. And so it's important to us to help promote the vibrancy and growth of the R community. And with that in mind, we generally want to be a good citizen of the community. It's important to us for all these reasons. Now, as I said, we fund a number of projects through the R Consortium. These projects are around promoting the infrastructure, supporting the R community, education, standardization, and documentation. That was one of the other talks this week on that project. Generally promoting the production use of R and making sure that the package ecosystem, the almost 11,000 packages that are out there now on CRAN and more on other sites, that there's infrastructure to support that. These grants that we promote fund developers, and at this point we've allocated funds of almost $500,000 for over 22 projects. Talk about a couple of those in a moment. We also support working groups of the ISC. These are projects for exploring new technology, forums where different groups, different organizations can get together to promote consensus around conventions, around APIs, around standardization. And this is generally the way we help facilitate large collaborative projects. And so these projects generally enjoy the support of the R Consortium, they get attention from the R Foundation, and they have a higher level of visibility to the overall R community. One of the first projects that we supported, and one of the ones that helped kind of really drive the formation of the R Consortium, was R Hub, which is an R package building service. This is something that makes it much easier for you to basically develop your packages. This is a free service for the whole community. One of the talks I heard yesterday, someone said that, they were talking about their package and they tried to upload it to CRAN, but they had made a minor mistake and so it didn't quite get there. So the package wasn't up in time for their talk, but they were hoping to resolve that in a day or two. That sort of thing happens pretty often. And so that's part of what this helps facilitate in terms of building your package on multiple platforms, running the tests, basically getting it ready to submit to a place like CRAN, so that once you do go through that submission process, it will hopefully go much easier for you. Our localization by Richie Cotton, you might have heard his talk in the last couple of days, talking about making it easier for package developers to localize their errors and warning messages and other parts of their packages. That's one of the other projects we promoted. We're also working on supporting a project for code coverage of R, a tool that helps determine how much of the code within a package is actually covered by your tests, generally the goal of improving software quality. And you'll see this sort of project is, I think, one of the things that you will see more of moving forward, of how do we help the community promote greater quality in terms of building their packages, in terms of testing their packages. How do we provide those tools as software vendors who are promoting projects in the community? How do we help make it easier for the community to be successful? Another project that you might have heard about in the last couple of days is improving the DBI interface. Kirill Mueller spoke about that, I believe, yesterday afternoon. And generally, another project around standardization, around how do we help things be more consistent across the community. We also support a number of projects, things like mini conferences, SAT-R days. We support a large number of R user groups across the world. If you're starting an R user group, visit the Rconsortium website. We have funding available as well as some information on best practices to help you get started. We also work closely with Our Ladies, and we're very proud to help fund some of their expansion in the last year in terms of going from a couple of chapters to working worldwide. It's great working with Our Ladies. In terms of what we're doing right now, there's a few things. There's a survey that we just promoted. It's available now. That link is on the website, but rather than scribbling that down, if you go to my Twitter handle, @LouBajik, I just tweeted that out yesterday. I'll tweet it out again after the talk. Or more easily, just Google the Rconsortium website. On the front page will be a link to this survey. And this survey is basically asking about the state of R, about what do you think about where R is, where it should be going, what do you like about it, what do you not like about it. And all the results of this survey will be shared anonymously once we collect it. And our goal is to make this an annual survey moving forward so that we can gather and share information about the state of the R community as we move on. We've got 10 new projects that were funded just in the last few months. You can go to the Rconsortium blog if you'd like to see a list of what those projects are. And there'll be a new round of proposals later this year. That's an ongoing thing. About twice a year, we review and fund a group of proposals. If you're something you're interested in, I encourage you to submit it sooner rather than later. And so, if you like what you hear, if you like the idea of supporting the R community, here's how you can get involved. First off, again, the funding for all these projects come from the members, like TIBCO and Microsoft and RStudio and Alteryx and the Moore Foundation and Mango. And so, advocate for your organization to join. If your organization either is a vendor that sells software in the R space or simply is a user of R. Perhaps you're part of a consulting company that promotes the usage of R. Joining the Rconsortium has many benefits and helps you support the community. You can also submit proposals to the IC or for working groups. If there's something that you think should be done, something that you would like to do, or something that you'd like to collaborate with your peers around, where you'd like some of the administrative support and the visibility of the Rconsortium, and propose a working group. There's also a number of existing projects up there, and so if you go to the Rconsortium website, look what projects are there, volunteer to help. And also importantly, just follow us and help spread the information about the Rconsortium. We're available on Twitter at Rconsortium or rconsortium.org. We have a blog there that talks about what we do, what projects are going on, and generally promotes these projects to the R community. And so that's my overview. I'll be around after the talk to talk more about the Rconsortium, but thank you for your time.